welcome to the Man Cave here at Wistful Vistas in beautiful suburban San Diego, California. This is an introductory video that I'm doing for work that I've been actively trying to complete since February of this year, February 2019, it's true. And I'll tell you a little bit about it, and hopefully you'll enjoy the effort that went into it. I had at one time 3 motorcycles in my garage. I had over here in this blank space a 2014 BMW S1000 single R. I had the Aprilia 2017 Tuono Factory, and I had the Ducati V4S, the famous Phantom, as modified by Jared Capizzi and Dado Rados. These 3 machines at one time, can't have 3, so one had to go, and it turned out it was the BMW. But I have a stretch of road near here that I refer to as my own private Nurburgring. And I think people in general that enjoy motorcycles or cars, driving cars, have a little section of road that they too can call their own private Nurburgring. Maybe long, maybe short, maybe it's just a freeway on-ramp. In my case, I'm lucky enough to live in the countryside here at San Diego, so it's beautiful, twisty country roads. And I finally finished up getting all 3 of them on video, and I'm going to finally edit that and put it together, and hopefully you'll enjoy the effort. I will do it in 2 different formats. I'm going to do it so that there's a segment or a format for each particular motorcycle, one for the Beamer, one for the Ducati, and one for the Aprilia. And then I'm going to call it a director's cut, and that will be all 3 of them put together. That'll be pretty lengthy for the things that I've done in the past. I'm not sure of the total time, but probably run over 20 minutes anyway, 25 minutes. The others will be around 10 or 11 minutes. So you can decide if you don't want to see anything at all about a Ducati, riding a Ducati, or if you could care less about the Tuono, for instance, but are vitally interested in how that BMW, how I felt about the BMW, then you can just concentrate on that segment, or Ducati or Aprilia, whatever your taste may be, or grab a cold brew, hot cup of tea, whatever is your favorite tipple, and sit down and watch all 3. But in any case, again, I'm going to say, I just hope you enjoy it. And what I'd like to hear from the people who see this out there is a comment. A, did they enjoy it, of course, but also a comment, what is your own private Nurburgring? Where is your favorite section of road, and what is it about it that you like? If you can do that in a few sentences, that'd be great. It'll be enjoyable for me to read. I love reading the comments that people put down, and I like hearing about it. And tell me, what is your private Nurburgring? Meantime, stand by, and I hope you enjoy the video or these videos. That's all for now. Okay, we are live. I just tested. We have sound going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I think every motorcycle rider or sports car driver or people who enjoy driving, the act of driving, riding, have a favorite little road that they like to take, a little twisty, relaxing bit of road that they do for wheeled therapy, 2-wheeled therapy, and we're about to take the Red Baron on just one of those things for yours truly. I have recently come into the ownership of 3 motorcycles, so I can't keep 3. One of them does have to go, and sadly it will be the Red Baron here, which is a 2014 BMW S1000R. So what I'm going to do, though, which I think will be fun for the viewers, is to take this same road on all three machines that I own and talk a bit about their differences. You can enjoy riding along. As always, there are speed limits to think about, and of course the gods of traffic. We could end up being stuck behind a very slow car, or behind a fast car, or behind no car at all, but I have nothing to do with that. But the nature of the road will allow us to do some fun observations of riding the different machines down this road. So I'm going to strap on my gloves and hop on the Baron, and let's go for a ride together. There we go. Smooth, smooth machine. The Red Baron is like that friend that you have that you can always count on. He will always be there for you. Okay, we are motoring. There's a trash truck coming just behind us. We're going to meet that dude out of here. I'm not going to tell you the name of this road, except to say that it's technical and it's got some fun curves and twists on it, and except to say that there is nobody right there, so we are going to be going and gone. We run along the ridge. This road follows an old, really, cart path. Dates back to the Spanish possessions of California, and hopefully the periphery view of this camera will allow you to see out and about beyond just our road focus up ahead. But it is a beautiful road. Got to watch out about the oncoming traffic, let alone the traffic we're about to catch up to. And we've had some recent rain, so gravel washes are a problem, particularly on our older roads. And I'm just going to say that there are some hidden driveways too you have to be aware of that cars can pop out on, which is, of course, always part of the fun. All right, we're going to run into a pickup truck. Maybe it's going to turn. Yeah, it doesn't look like any such luck. Oh, maybe we do have such luck. Ha-ha! Thank you, sir. Nice of you to do. We are coming from the coastline of California back into Rancho Santa Fe. There's one of those cars popping out of the little side streets I mentioned. So I'm going to say, to me, the Baron, it's like that buddy you could always depend upon. The Baron will always start, always stop. I do love the brakes on the Baron. I've been able to get those bled down to a level they really work well. I can single finger the front level. Works like a champ, really does. I do like the Baron's brakes. Can steady them up with the back brake a little bit. And the handling of a BMW S1000R, I'm going to call it a javelin. So it's very fast. The machine is very fast based on the S1000R. And some of the ergos carry over. For instance, your leg and your tuck position is rather reminiscent of a sports riding machine. But you are upright, so you're catching the wind. You've got that full naked feeling, and 165 reputed horsepower at the crank per the factory brochures. But the handling, we're not going to call it not nimble, but again, I'm going to say that the handling on this machine resembles that of a javelin. That is, you toss it, let it go, and it's gonna love to go straight. You got to sort of wrestle it over a little bit in the corners. We got some cones here, but it's still going to be better than the vast majority of the machines out there. So we're talking about degrees, and my comparison points are a Tuono V4 Factory and, of course, a Ducati Panigale V4S. So poor Baron gets some pretty tough company. But these turns say 30 miles an hour. That's just a suggested speed limit. We don't have to do that. Oh, well, you know how that goes.
no fun to go straight. So we're kind of lucky today. Normally I pick up at least a couple cars, but everybody that's been ahead of us today has turned off. Okay, that's my little short but lovely curvy section of road. Love this. We're coming into the little village of Rancho Santa Fe right now. Didn't need to use the brakes even once. Well, maybe just a little shadow there because you don't know what's around that corner. And we have done the loop. Private Nurburgring once this light changes green, as it just did. Okay, thank you, Mr. Light. It's a normal work day. I'm a retired guy. So I get to roll around here and enjoy my two-wheel therapy. Private Nurburgrings. Here we go. How do you define a private Nurburgring? Is it a place where you can go really fast in a straight line and have pretty much the independence of thinking that you're not going to get caught, found out? Or is it a tight, twisty section that allows you to throw the car, hit the tires a little bit, kind of throw the car around now and then, and feel that going on? Or is it a quicker twisty bit? Something, let's say, just a little bit faster that you like to do? I'm kind of in that category. I like something a bit twistier, not super slow. But this is a fun part of it. This is fun because you get to play a little control. You imagine that you're dancing almost, for the ladies out there in the audience. For the men, I don't guess the idea would be dancing as much. For me, one of the feelings that comes across that's sort of a mix is surfing. I find surfing and motorcycle riding have a fair amount in common. They both require balance and concentration, require a little knowledge. You don't get on a motorcycle and ride at your full capacity until you've had a little bit of knowledge and some experience. So I find those are the two things I find most closely linked in my sporting experience. So we've covered that. I want to talk a little bit about the Tuono as compared to the BMW and the Ducati. Now, I never expected in the beginning of all this that I would have a Ducati to compare with all of them, but I did win that full carbon custom. And the interesting thing about them, and again, this is completely inadvertently, is that they are all 4 cylinders. Of course, the BMW was an inline 4, and the Ducati and the Tuono are V4s. Ducati, quite a departure from a storied history of L twins to an L4. I think they just put a couple of cylinders, if one can use just in conjunction with the engineering that required to get done. But their firing and their running are all different. The i4 requires some revs to get it underway. There's not, the torque isn't naturally available down low. So it likes to have a head of steam on, and then it really puts up the power, with the fact that it is also a little bit of imbalance in it. Now, BMW does a wonderful job of hiding that imbalance, but so there is just that little trifle of imbalance there. Now, this is great on a motorcycle. You got to twist your head about 120 degrees to see. Oh, okay, all clear. Here we go. I think all clear. Yep. Nice. Okay, so and the Tuono, which in order of my possession, I'm running down them now. I had the Beamer first. The Tuono is also is a V4, not also. It's different than an inline 4, but it is firing at even intervals, I do believe. Therefore, it's very smooth. It has a really awesome roar. It literally sounds like a little V8 in here, particularly with the Akrapovic exhaust I have installed on it. I think one of the things that everybody mentions about the V4 Tuono is the mellifluous engine note. The Ducati has, I believe, what's called a equal side firing order, so I think it's really almost acting like a double twin cylinder. I'm not too sure about that, but it definitely has a different sound. And the Ducati can rev out to about 15,000 RPM, something like that. It also has probably the best torque of all these machines at lower RPM levels. So the dichotomy is that it's the most aggressive riding position of the S1000R and the Tuono, Aprilia Tuono, but it has probably the best available low down torque to ride on. So it's kind of interesting that it works that way. Of the three machines, people are going to ask me, which one's your favorite? Which one's your favorite? And I could happily live with any of the three machines singularly. And there's going to come a day when I will live with just one machine. There's no reason I need. I certainly didn't need three motorcycles. There is absolutely no reason I need two motorcycles, especially two that are really closely related in terms of their performance mission. So probably the most comfortable, performance-oriented of the three that we're talking about would be this one I'm sitting on right now, the Tuono. It's got just wonderful balance. It's a really well-balanced machine. It has the sports bike bones. It came off the RSV4, and it's got those sport bike bones without the tight ergonomics and without the super tall gearing. I rode an RSV4 a few years back, and it had such tall gearing. The Ducati also has really tall gearing, again befitting a sports bike. You're supposed to ride those very rapidly on a track and make them sing. And road riding, you're just not even going to be in that area. You're not in the area of realizing all of the performance you can extract out of a Tuono either, but it is more accessible. So which is my favorite? Currently, I'm going to say the Tuono. I say currently because you know, motorcycles, they're like, especially if you are following and reading the literature and everything. Where's the car coming? Sorry for this, folks. They will come and go in your consideration. So, but it's currently the Tuono. Now, I just rode the Ducati the other day and really enjoyed it. So I can't say every time I get on that Ducati I break into a wide grin. I think of those build videos with Dotto and Jarrett, and I just love it. I do. So I don't know, but anyway, they are all fun. They are all great on your private Nurburgring. I am a lucky, lucky fellow to have had the chance to sample these three machines. And what I'd like to see everyone do who watches this video is to tell me where your private Nurburgring is, what you like about it. Do you like high speed, low speed, medium speed, curves, straight line? And share it with me. I'd love to read that. I think everybody does. And everybody that owns a motorcycle in most of non-third world countries does so because really they enjoy the experience. We don't do this out of necessity. So it's because we enjoy the experience. So there you have it. I'm going to be quiet. I have no idea how long I rambled on there, but I'm going to give you a little bit of quiet, and we're going to go by these gentlemen who are working on this road again. I definitely will cut this out. stand by. We'll get through. Maybe we'll slip through like we did last time. Okay, your private Nurburgring. Little downhill S sections here. What is your private Nurburgring? I always contend that anybody who rides or drives and enjoys the act of doing it, if riding or driving for you is just a means to get from A to B, well, then you may not relate to this. But if you actually enjoy driving or riding, and you probably have a favorite road or something in your neighborhood or area. May not even be a road, might even be just a little section of freeway on-ramp or off-ramp that you enjoy traveling because it has just those aspects that make your drive pleasant the way you want it to be. So that fellow just hopped out in front of us in his big black Cadillac. And what I'd like to do is compare. My plan has been to do this video for a long, long time. I actually started back in February, believe it or not. I wanted to ride my private little Nurburgring with all three of my machines. Now, at the time, I had three. I do not any longer. I sold the 2014 BMW S1000R in the middle of the year, and that's now riding around Manhattan. Good luck to that gentleman. Very nice fella. And there's a lovely little turn in here. Can we holler around the corner and power out? Sure we can. So the idea here is that for me, my private Nurburgring needs to be pretty. It's got to look nice. I want something that really looks nice, and secondarily, it has to have some curves. There are guys who might say, hey, my private Nurburgring is a straight piece of road and I can drop the hammer and go as fast as I can. That would not qualify my particular case. I like a pretty road, and I like a road that has some curves in it. Now, you don't have to be going all that fast to enjoy the curves, as we cannot because we've now picked up another truck, but you can at least let loose your inner Marquez or Rossi or Iannone, or let's see, who else can I think of? Dovizioso. I think Dovizioso is the most appropriate perhaps on this machine. After all, Ducati Panigale. So Dovizioso, I'm guessing, is the guy who we could perhaps relate to the most on this particular machine. And having said that, then that's what I like. I don't like a straight road. I like one that has some curves in it. I like it to be a little in the countryside, and I like it to be somewhat technical. So those are my attributes of the ideal private Nurburgring. I'd like to hear what yours are. I'd like to hear the location, and I'd like to hear how you define your private Nurburgring. Then the other thing I want to talk about is riding the Ducati as compared to the other machines. The wonderful thing about the Ducati is that it is really can't get it in first gear here. Come on, first gear. What's interesting about the Ducati is that it actually makes you, it's a really capable machine, but it is engineered so as it makes you feel like you're a better rider. It rewards smoothness. There's no doubt about that. It does reward smoothness. So you need to be aware of that. It doesn't like a ham-fisted control. It doesn't like a heavy throttle input necessarily. It likes gradual acceleration to get you up into the sweet spot of the motor. But it it makes you feel like you're a better rider than you are. It really does. Having said that, the interesting thing about the Ducati is I'm sure I don't ride it to anywhere near its peak potential. 60, 70%, I don't know. But a person like, let's say, 650E, who's a really expert rider, spends a lot of time on sport bikes, spends a lot of time at the track and things like that, he could ride this, come away convinced that he's done a great job of it, and have really enjoyed the experience, and I can do so as well. So that's the marvelous job that Ducati put into engineering this machine. The other thing about it that really appeals on these kind of roads is it is very responsive. I mean, I'm not even thinking about going around these turns, really. It's kind of just wishing it around the turns, and it's doing it pretty much on its own. I don't have to consciously think about riding it or pointing it or anything like that. You just kind of wish it around the curves, and it goes where you'd like it to go. I don't know if that's a right way to explain it, but I think that's part of that smoothness thing. It really does have an inherent smoothness that makes it rewarding to take through those twistings. So, quick observations. Riding my favorite Nurburgring. I hope I got some useful video that time. It has been a bit of a struggle because it seems like every time I've gone out, I've either had the camera in the bad spot, or I've gotten, and I have pretty much this time, or I've gotten behind some really slow traffic. But I think I got a little bit of footage I can stitch together there, and I'm going to share it with everybody. And again, what I'd like to hear from all my family and friends and anybody who watches this, you don't even have to be my friend. In fact, it doesn't matter. You could say you're my friend, though. That would be nice. I don't mind having lots of friends. And tell me about your private Nurburgring. Tell me, A, where it is. You don't have to tell me the exact location, but let's say in proximity to your lifestyle. Is it close to your house, or is it on the way to work? Do you take a little on-ramp at work and try to nail that apex every time? Or is it that you have to wait on the weekends for a weekend to come around when you finally get the chance to open it up and let it rip? So I'd like to hear about that. Please share that with me, and I think we can start a lively little debate here on the channel. So I'm going to be quiet now, because we most definitely will be hitting some traffic here, and I'm kind of out of the what's probably the most exciting part of this trip. Oh, a little oil on the road. Yep, clear behind us. We can go now. And I'm going to head it back and see if I can stitch something together here. And don't forget to tell me about your private Nurburgring. Love to hear about it. All right, over and out. Enjoy the ride.